I knew what religion was as a Catholic, but I didn't know what a relationship with Jesus was. In the early 80s, heroin flooded Liverpool. I ended up in Pwllheli in Wales in a holiday camp called Butlins. Got married very young. Then I remember, my God, church, I remember speaking to God. And then it really hit me, like truly hit me.
Wow.
That this is definitely him. I was used to selling cars. It's all about Jesus. It's all about that, just that relation, that one-on-one with him.
Hello and welcome to another edition of My Story. And today we want to introduce to you Tommy Amos from Liverpool. So Tommy, welcome and tell us all about yourself.
I'm a taxi driver, as you say, from Liverpool. I'm a Christian. I've been for about 11 to 12 years now. Got 4 kids. I like to speak about, in my taxi especially, God, Jesus, without preaching. Just get him into conversation as much as I can.
Yeah, lovely. So what's it like being a taxi driver in Liverpool? Are you very busy?
At times you are, yeah, peak hours obviously you are. Other times you're not as busy, but it suits me. I can work around what I want to do rather than being stuck at 9 to 5 and I can't get,
Oh, that's nice. Now, how did you actually come to the Lord? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Born in Liverpool, raised in Liverpool, schooled. And I was brought up a Catholic. My mum's Irish. So in the early 80s, heroin flooded Liverpool, the drug heroin.
Yes.
There was nothing happening in Liverpool at the time. It was on its knees as a city. Unemployment was rife. There was no jobs, that type of thing. So this one day, early 82 I think it was, this drug all of a sudden just flooded the streets. Now, the only thing drugs I knew then, and everyone else to be honest with you, Jan, was like marijuana pot. So that's what kids did.
Right,
young
just
ones
smoking
did.
it, you mean?
Yeah, and listen to music. Then all of a sudden this come along. Now, combined with, there was a lot of despair, shall we say, in the city. There was nothing happening jobs-wise and whatever.
Yes.
This come along and it was like, for a lot of people, a lot of young people, it was like a release. I'm going to try this. No, I had at the time a really close friend from little kids up called Martin. Cracking lad, brilliant lad actually. And I used to look up to him because he's just a great lad. And he used to say to me when this drug come out, "Well, let's try it, Tom. Let's try it." And I'd be saying, "Man, don't be trying that, mate. That's real drugs. That's not like a little bit of marijuana." So for weeks and weeks and weeks, the lads that used to hang around together, one by one, they would start going and taking this, go to like another circle of people, if you like. So in the end, it got down to like not many. And then this one day, Martin said to me, after weeks of asking me to take this drug, and me saying, "Don't be doing that." "No, Martin."
No.
He said, "I've been to see someone and there's a party on Friday night. And we've been invited, me and you, Tom, and he's going to give us this drug. We haven't got to pay for it. And not to worry."
So free heroin, that would
free
draw
heroin,
anybody, wouldn't it?
Well, at that time it would have,
Yeah.
because no one knew much about it. It's not like now you know what it does to you.
Yes.
Then you didn't know anything about it, other than you probably got high. So after like weeks of Martin sort of like badgering me, I said that this one day, we were in where I used to live, Wavertree Road, outside the betting shop where we all used to hang around, there was nothing to do. He said, "Tom, got this party, been invited, me and you, come on, let's go." So I went, "Oh, go on then." Well, come on. Finally gave in, shall we say. So he went off all happy as Larry. This was on a Wednesday, by the way. And right facing where the betting shop was is still there, actually, a church called St Mary's. It's changed its name now. Anyway, so I'm thinking, what have I just done here? Said, "That's a mountain for, I don't want to go." So I walked across to this church, slipped away from all my mates. Loads of us were there, loads of like older men and stuff. I went into this church, and for the first time ever in my life, I actually spoke to God, rather than say the Our Father, the Hail Mary, like you told it in church, in school, sorry. So I just said, "God, I've got this party to go to in a couple of nights. I don't want to go. It's real drugs. Help me," type of thing. So didn't feel nothing, no flashing lights, no trumpets, nothing.
No.
So I leaves. So the next day it was my turn to sign on the dole. That was a Thursday.
Right.
So I goes down, signs on, and when I'm in the door, there was like a big queue stretching from up the next floor down the stairs, and I'm downstairs. And I said to the woman who you sign with, I said, what's the queue for? And she went, oh, they're giving jobs away upstairs.
Oh.
She said, join the queue. And I said, okay, nothing better to do, to be honest with you, John. So I took my place. After, I don't know how long it was, but I was at the bottom stage. You've got to go all the way up to the back of the room. And I finally get there, and there's still people behind me queuing and come after me.
Yeah.
So there's a girl in front of me, and there's a table with 3 people on, two men and a woman. And they've all got like individual like papers. So the girl gets up, I sit down, and then the 3 people look at each other, and that's it, there's one job left to each other. And then I'm plonked there, and they went, yeah, right. And I think they were fed up, to be honest with you, Jan, because they used to be in there all day.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Interviewing.
Yeah.
And there's one, so they just said, look, we're after a chef. And I said, yeah, I'm a chef, mate.
Had you ever had any chefing?
Well, I think I'd done 6 weeks in a catering college.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
You know, before that, and then after the chefing, you do 6 weeks as a motor mechanic, then 6 weeks as an electrician.
Oh, just for a sort of experience?
Yeah, and just to get off the streets.
I see.
It's not a job, but it paid about £20 more than the dole, or £15 more. So that was my only experience, really. So they didn't even interview me or anything like that. They just said, okay, looked at each other and said...
Wow, so where did you end up?
I ended up the next day, I ended up in Pwllheli in Wales in a holiday camp called Butlins. You've probably heard of Butlins.
I've heard of Butlins, certainly.
Well, I ended up there. It was all like a bit of a whirlwind. I couldn't believe, to be honest, one, I've got a job, because there was just no jobs. I've been unemployed since I left school, without a job. So gets to Pwllheli the next day with a load of new arrivals, shall we say. Gets given all your kit, your chef's hat and all of this. Gets shown me chalet. And then I remember lying, and this is what I remember clearly, lying in my chalet on my bed, put my bag down. Just feeling so happy because, like, I've left Liverpool.
Yes.
Got a job. And then I'm thinking, me mate Martin, lying in bed thinking, wonder what Martin's going to be doing tonight. And then I remembered, we're going to this party, I'm going to take this heroin. And then I felt like thinking, oh my God, I went to church. I'm thinking, then I remembered, my God, church, I remember speaking to God. And then it really hit me, like truly hit me.
Wow.
That this is definitely him.
Yes.
Now, I wasn't, like I say, like big believer in God, although I believe because I was brought up a Catholic, but you just go about, I was more interested in football and whatever. But I'm thinking, my God, he really did listen to me. Yeah. He really did, he is a God. So
because you reached out to him, didn't you?
Reached out first time ever.
Yeah.
Literally desperation.
Yeah. Pure
Pure desperation, Jan, to be honest. And he answered. So that was my first real experience of anything to do with God proper.
Yes.
And then after that, life took over. Got married very young, become a dad.
Just backtrack a little. What was it like being at Butlins and being a chef? I mean, was it a difficult job?
No, it wasn't at all. When I thought it was going to be, I thought I'm going to get caught out here. They're going to ask me to, I don't know, do something with a raw chicken and, and what ingredients.
Something fancy, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't. No, it was everything was just ready-made. It was like, so the chips were already cut. It's like a chip you worked in, sorry, by the way.
Right,
it wasn't a restaurant.
Yeah.
Chicken curry was in a big tin. So you just...
So you didn't cook it, you just heated it, really?
Yeah. So that was my job as a chef, so it couldn't be any easier. So
brilliant.
I had a great...
Isn't God clever?
No, it was just a great time because my first ever job, I was in the same boat as everyone else.
Yes.
Probably everyone's first time away from home. Mm-hmm. So we were all just like on a natural high. Just glad to be like doing something, and in like a nice environment where people are on holiday. Mm-hmm. So everyone's like, the guard's down. Everyone's enjoying themselves and you're part of it, but you're getting paid to be part of it. So I had a really, really nice time, really fun memories.
That's amazing. Yeah. What did your parents think about you going away like that?
Well, my mum and dad split up, my dad didn't live with us. My dad was probably made up, but he would have been. I remember my mum crying when I said to her, that's another thing I remember clearly, coming home saying, Mum, I've actually got a job. And she was like, have you, lad? Yeah, where? I said, Pwllheli, Butlins, and she goes, where's that? And I went, it's in Wales. I remember my ma being a bit upset, my lad's leaving, but I just couldn't wait to go, to be honest with you. But they were happy for me,
Yeah, that's good. Did that last just one season or what?
That lasted a season, Jan, and then I went from there, I got itchy feet then. I just didn't want to be, like, coming back to Liverpool to go back into the same, you know, no job and all that.
Yeah.
So I started looking for work. Now that I knew what seasonal work was, shall we say, I'd never even heard the term. So I'd get jobs in another holiday camp, which was Pontins in Morecambe, and then I'd look when that finished, I'd look for like permanent work like in hotels up and down the country that wasn't seasonal. So I worked all over the country, loving every minute of it, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'd been a chef that once wasn't really a chef, but being like a waiter or a porter or something, something dead easy. But it got me a wage. I was out of Liverpool, and I was just in again with everyone's the same boat. We're all young, so just had a nice time, to be honest.
Yeah, excellent. So at what point did you actually come to a real realisation that God was for you and accept Him?
Oh, that was many years later, to be honest with you, Jan. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was about 11 years ago. Although I did believe in God, obviously, because of that first time.
Yes.
But I didn't have what you'd call like I have now a real relationship with Him. So about 11 years ago, I was driving. I'm a taxi driver, as I said, and I was driving around in my taxi, and I kept getting this thing in my head, like a record that you sing and it won't go away. It was similar to that, but much stronger.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can describe it. And it wouldn't go. And I kept saying, Tommy, you've got to go and find a church. It's got to be a Christian church. And that's what it kept saying to me. I know that sounds weird and strange, but that's with them words in my head. And it just kept going on for weeks and weeks and weeks. And in the end I thought, something's up here. God's definitely telling me something here.
Yeah.
So when I looked at a Christian church, and I didn't know the difference between a Christian church and a Catholic church, say for argument's sake. And what the difference I've found is, I knew what religion was as a Catholic, but I didn't know what a relationship with Jesus was. As a
now
Christian.
that's a big difference, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
But that's what I've found. Go to Catholic church, you all believe in Jesus.
Yes.
Our Lady and all that. I still do. But it's more being a Christian, it's not a religion. It is, people watching this will know, it's a true relationship, a true friendship, a loving relationship.
Yes.
He is my dad. I rang up a couple of churches, went to one, it was okay. And then this one week I rang up the church where I still go to, called Christ Church, Liverpool. So I rang up, spoke to the pastor, and at that time in my life, I was used to selling cars, like,
oh, right.
Like in a big posh, a nice proper forecourt. But it was like the terminology you see it on TV or whatever, like a second-hand car salesman, I've got to be wary of them. Well, there's a reason, when I'm going into that. But what I'm saying is, I was used to people couldn't hoodwink me over anything. I'd smell it before they did it type of thing.
Yes.
I knew what they were going to, what I mean? So typical, I wasn't slippery, but I knew what was coming. So when I spoke to this pastor, I thought, well, I'm going to ask him some awkwardish questions and put him on the back foot, because I didn't know nothing about a Christian church at the time. So I was talking to him on the phone. So
what sort of questions did you put to him?
And I was saying, well, how much money do you get from doing this then? Thinking it's all about money and stuff like that.
Right, yes.
And he was just he was so transparent, he didn't sidestep anything. I couldn't put him on the back, I couldn't trip him up. And I'm thinking, I trip anyone up. He just, to me, I do it on a daily basis, really. And he was just so honest with me. And he went, look, he said, if you fancy, come down the weekend on Sunday, and see what you think. And I said, okay, I will. And I must have been on the phone for maybe an hour to him. And then at the end, he said to me something that I say, daily, and people do. But he said, should I pray for you? So no one had ever said that to me, ever. And I went, yeah, go on, mate, if you want. Yeah. So he said, whatever prayer he said, I can't really remember, to be honest with you, Jan. But the next week I went with my young girl, our Taylor, who was 10. And it was truly, as I went in, being home. It was
that's
warm,
wonderful, yes.
Type of thing, yeah.
And so it was welcoming.
So, yeah, but it wasn't just the people. It was, as I'm sitting there, it was this is weird. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to be.
Yes.
It's a feeling that people will have had that feeling. Lots of people watching this probably. But it's a feeling you can't really describe. You're meant to be there.
That's
you
right.
know this is for you.
Yes.
And ever since. So my relationship then with God, and that's when, going back to, I knew what religion was, but I didn't know what a relationship was with Jesus. over the years and that, and, you know, I've learned it's all about Jesus. It's all about that, just that relation, that one-on-one with him. And it's you know, it's amazing. My youngest girl, Taylor, now she's a Christian.
Good.
We've both been baptised. She's 21 now. It's just been great to us, to be honest with you. You know, having that relationship that I never had before, although he was always there for me. Yeah, just like, I never really reached out much once, and he answered. But now I reach out all the while, and he answers every time.
Yes.
In one way or another, even if not the way we expect or think, or in the right timing for us. But there's always like a positive outcome to whatever's, you know, troubling you. It's like life throws stuff at you and it stings you, but it'll never destroy you because of what I've got, like, sitting behind me or standing behind me.
I understand that you actually are part of the Christian Helpline, New Cabaret. Have you ever needed a listening ear yourself in your life?
Yeah, when you go back to what I said a bit earlier, when I sat in that church on my own, that was the best listening ear in the world. So that's like probably the first time. But in life, there must have been lots of times when, like, things aren't going well and you spoke to your mum or something. You know, I'm a young lad, married, and things weren't working out proper, and stuff like only adults, if you like, because of the experience. So it's. I think we've all been there, Jan. You know, we've all needed that time, you know, to open up to someone and stuff like that. So to answer your question, probably lots of times.
This is why you realised the need for this. Now tell us a little bit about this Christian Helpline.
Okay, one day I was just on Facebook and an advert come up, and the advert looked quite nice. It was like gold leaf, like figure, and it just said, you know, could you spare, you know, I think it was so many hours a week or whatever it was, to come and like become like a listener. And I looked into it a bit more, wanted to find out a bit more. I had a number, I rang the number, and I spoke to like the main man at there, if you want to put it that way, Tim Harden. Lovely man, spoke to me, and he's very engaging, Tim. He's very warm, you know, when you want to know a bit more. And he said, look, if you're interested, you know, I can set something up for you. So I was interested, and then eventually I become what you call a listener. And if people want to know what it's about, it's similar to the Samaritans, really.
Oh, right, yes.
So people who've got problems, whatever it is, like I'm called a listener. So they'll ring up New Cabaret. It's a free phone number. The call will come through, and whatever it is they want to speak about, you know, we...
And you just listen?
We just listen, we don't...
So what's the difference between you and the Samaritans? Okay,
well, the Samaritans, they're not allowed to pray for you, is probably the biggest difference. Where we will listen, say it was yourself, Jan, you'd come through and you're really upset about whatever it is that's bothering you. We know on that call between me and you, well, I know that Jesus is actually on that phone with you and me listening in.
Yes.
So we encourage you to open up to Jesus. And like a lot of people say, like, oh, no, I can't, you know, I don't pray. What do I pray for? You know, I don't know how to pray. And well, you've just been telling me for the last half hour what it is, Jan, that's really bothering you. Well, no, let's like pass it over now. Go on, tell him. He wants to know. He knows anyway. Tell him. Go on. I'm here for you to support you. If you want to pray with you, I will. So we try and get you your relationship, like as a one-on-one, without the middleman type of thing.
Yes.
And that's
so
what
now tell Jesus what you've told me. Yeah. So do you find many people do that? You do,
you do. A lot of people say, well, can you pray for me first? But you get a lot of repeat callers, and in the end, a lot of them, they will be doing it, because that's like our goal, really, is to get you in a one-on-one with the Lord Jesus. You know, we're just gently pushing you that way, you know. But
that's amazing. So do you get mainly Christians or non-Christians?
It's a mixed bag, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
A mixed bag. A lot of Christians, or a lot of people who are, you know, from every denomination.
Yes.
You know, from Catholic, Protestant, Baptist, Methodist to no faith. You get it's just a massive mixed bag. But you know, the Lord's there for every single person. Yes. You know, we get people from other faiths ringing in, but the Lord's there for them. You know,
absolutely.
It doesn't matter what your faith is or no faith.
Yes.
It's for everyone.
Yes,
and
Jesus
everyone
is the answer for everybody.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So how often do you do this?
Well, all we ask is if you could just give us 2 hours once a week. So,
I see.
So it's not a, if you want to do a bit more, you can.
Yes.
But if you could just give us 2 hours once a week, and we're open from 3, or the lines are 3 till midnight.
Yes.
So, there's a few watches, we call them, shifts, people might say, watches.
Yeah.
So you can pick, it's not like you have to do 5 till 7. That's the only one you've got this week.
Yeah.
The rota's there, put your name down, and whatever watch suits you.
So, Tommy, when you're on your watch, what sort of people do you get calling in? Can you give us an instance?
Yeah, you get a mixed bag again. You get someone ringing in for, let's for argument's sake, the cat's gone missing, and they're really worried. And would you say a prayer? It's like, my cat will be found safe. Something from that to, like, the other end of the spectrum. People who are dying, people who want to commit suicide.
Yes.
You get a lot of that, to be fair.
Yeah.
You just get like one person that sticks out, because I've spoken to him quite a number of times now, from London. He was mentally all over the place, as in, does he believe, doesn't he believe? He's got lots of issues, this one, but he's a lovely man as well. When you scratch below the surface, he's a lovely, lovely person. And he went into a church and he's seen a poster for New Cabaret. No, he's got no money, he hasn't got a carrot. He lives in like a bed sit. He's never got electricity. I think once a week he has enough to put like the lecky on for a day. He rang this number and he's on the phone to me. It was the first time he ever rang, but I was like on watch then. I was the listener. He couldn't believe that there was someone for him to speak to. None of us are judgmental. None of us give advice. We're just in here.
Yes.
With prayer at the end, if you like. And he started crying. He goes, I can't believe I'm not paying for this phone call. It's free, because he never had a penny. So if it would have been like, you've got to put money in,
of
or he's
course,
got to take his credit off or whatever, he couldn't have ever spoke to us. Now, he's been a regular caller now. We get lots of regulars. But I know from the first time I spoke to him, that very first call he made, till I spoke to him, I think it was last week I spoke to him, the difference in him, he opens up a lot more, he's more of himself, he's a happier person, although, he still has his own issues and all that.
Yes.
But New Cabaret has been a proper lifeline for him.
Yes.
So, it's got different uses, I'd say, New Cabaret. It's got uses for, like, people who are, desperate and they don't want to be here.
Yes.
We can deal with that. We're trained to deal with that. To people who have nothing but a regular ear that they can speak to and who knows about them, they haven't got to give the story again and again and again.
Yeah.
Ring up, oh, is that you, Tommy? As soon as I open my mouth, Liverpool. Oh yeah, hello. We call him Brian. I like Brian, how are you, mate? It fits so many different boxes.
That's just amazing.
It is, and that's what New Cabaret is. It's not just like one glove fits all. There's that many different people ring, and it's got a benefit for every single person. But always at the top, it's all coming from Jesus, from us.
Yes. And your aim is to connect them with Jesus. I think that's tremendous.
That's the goal.
So, Tommy, what are the needs of New Cabaret and the listening service?
We need more listeners, to be honest with you. We need to grow it. We need more people to know about it.
Yes.
More people to ring in, because there's a lot of people out there who've got no one, not even someone to speak to.
Yes.
We're there, but for us to be there for them,
we
need more listeners.
Yes.
We need more people to know about us, to get in touch, like I did when I seen that first advert on Facebook.
Yes.
People to come get in touch with New Cabaret, the number, it's free.
That's lovely.
And for us to just get more volunteers, more listeners, and we want to grow and we need to grow.
Good. You being a taxi driver, I should think you meet a lot of people day by day.
Yeah.
So what sort of experience do you have in your taxi? Are you able to listen to people? Because I've heard other taxi drivers saying, oh, people always tell me their problems. So do you find that?
You do, all the time. And because of the training I've had with New Cabaret, you sort of you do push that out into your own, my life as a taxi driver. I listen. I know how to listen, because you're fully trained. You just can't jump into being a listener. You need training.
Yes.
The training's great, but it's all about listening, and I do listen. And then, I say to people in my taxi, but similar to what on the New Cabaret, I say, look, I'm a Christian. Would you like me to pray for you over what you just told me about? I've never had one person say no. So I'll pray for whatever it is. So yeah, it does. It sort of like crosses over between like New Caporet and my life as a taxi driver.
That's
really.
lovely. Can you give us any instances of people in your taxi?
One lady, and picked her up outside of a hospital. She'd had a heart attack. She was on the mend, but I rang her, and at the time she was going through a really bad time with her daughter. You know, they were clashing a bit. She's not from Liverpool, but she was living in Liverpool then.
Yeah.
So she gets in my taxi and she's on the phone and she's crying on the phone to her daughter. And I'm just in my taxi listening to this woman sobbing, really. I'm thinking, oh, no, you're feeling a little bit, you don't want to get involved. You let her do what she's doing. Then she put the phone down. And I said something like, you're all right, love. And she went, you know, not really. So it was the week before Christmas. And I said to her, look, what are you doing Christmas Day? And she went, nothing. I said, did you go to church, love? And she went, no, not really. I said, look, well, on Christmas Day, I'm going to church. You'd like to come? I'd like to take you. You know, somewhere, you know, she had nothing to do. And she went, yeah, would you? She hadn't long lived in Liverpool. And I said, yes, I'll come with you. I'll come and get you with me, little girl. She went, okay. But I never took a name or a number. So I'm thinking, I hope she still thinks I'm coming. So anyway, I get outside there, it's Christmas morning, and there she was. And she went, I didn't think you'd come. I said, well, I didn't think you'd believe I was going to come. So anyway, she got in my taxi, and then she come to church. Now, she wasn't a Christian, and now she's a Christian, she's baptised.
Oh, isn't that lovely? Yes.
Yeah. Lovely lady.
So, Tommy, would you pray for anybody who's been affected by this broadcast?
Dear Lord, for everyone watching here, you know, you changed my life. You really did. And I've gone from, and I've only realised that now talking to Jan, that I've gone on from needing someone to listen to me, which you did in that church that day, for me now being an ear for people to ring me. I just hope and pray, Lord, that everyone who's watching this feels something. If they want to think, oh, that this could interest me, this, I'd like to know more about it, well, please pick the phone up. I swear, honestly, you get so much from it. You know, it's 2 hours a week, you train fully. You know, it's not a big ask we ask for as in terms of your time, but you get that much from it when you know you're doing work for God, and it is for God. It really is. It's definitely for God, and you feel it inside. I do. So yeah, anyone who's interested, please pick up the phone, send an email, whatever you want to do. You know, we'll get back to you.
Tommy, it's been great to talk to you. Thank you so much for sharing all that with us, and lovely to hear your journey.
Lovely to be here. Thanks for having us.
God bless you.
Thank you.